How's this? It's good? Is the mic fine? It's okay. I guess it's fine. Let's do this. What's up everyone? This is Masa Shibata from Bangkok, Thailand. How are you guys doing? In today's video, as the title says, I want to share how I effectively prepare for 2024. And I'm not sure if this is all going to apply to all of you out there, but this is effective for me, and I hope this will help you guys prepare for next year in some way. Okay, I'm gonna break this video down into two parts. Part one, I will share the way of thinking that I have towards this preparation for the upcoming year, and in part two, I will actually share the nitty-gritty how I actually prepare and what kind of tools I use. Before we dive into the contents, make sure to hit that subscribe button because it helps grow my channel. By the way, for those of you who are new, my name is Masa Shibata. I'm an expat living in Bangkok since 2020, and basically I'm trying to reinvent this channel into, it used to start as a vlog kind of thing, but I want to reinvent this into a channel where I share with all of you some of the tips, anything that is helping me live better and helps me be a better version of myself every day. So, well, yeah, that's the concept. Okay, now let's dive into the video. Alright, part one, way of thinking. So, first of all, start with the why. For this one, I've seen many people, including myself, try to think about like very big and bold New Year's resolutions, and turns out you kind of get burnt out sooner or later. And so to prevent that, one effective way is to start thinking from the why. Having a clear purpose of why you want to do certain things is very effective. So for example, one of the goals that I have for next year is go to the gym twice a week. So that's a very actionable goal that I set for myself. But the objective, the why, is because first of all, I really want to stay healthy and also look healthy as well. Second, I believe that maintaining a fit body does resemble a person who has a good amount of self-discipline, and which leads me to my third point. I think that will be a very plus influence, that will have a very positive influence on my job itself, because I meet people, I am sales, I also am a coach in leadership and organizational development. So I would say that I myself don't want to be coached by anyone who has a low self-discipline. Whenever I begin to feel lazy and don't want to work out, just want to slack off, come home, watch Netflix, I remember myself, why did I want to do this in the first place? And that helps me stay motivated for most of the part. Honestly, this is not a super easy thing for me, trying to juggle all of this between work and some other things that I do. And it was actually only this year that I myself have been able to be consistent to even going to the gym one time per week. So like going to the gym twice, or if I feel like it, maybe go 3 times a week. That is a little bit of a higher challenge for me, which leads to my second point. Taking baby steps is okay. Have you guys heard of the term BHAG? I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but BHAG. It stands for Big, Hairy, Audacious Goals. I'm not gonna go into the discussion of whether this means a good thing or a bad thing, but sometimes we do set too much of a big goal that's just not feasible at the moment. We sometimes need to stretch ourselves just a little bit out of our comfort zones. You don't want to jump right out of your comfort zone without seeing what's in front of you and you hit a wall and you crash right into it. You don't want to do that. If you prefer to set bigger goals, then I recommend you to set that in a little bit of a mid to long-term perspective. You know, just allow yourself some room to breathe. Point 3, enjoy the process. Sometimes when we begin to prepare for things like this, we might eventually get trapped into a have-to-do situation instead of a want-to-do. You start out with a lot of aspiration, but it eventually turns out into an obligation, and we don't want that to happen. So yeah, I'd say we should always try to basically enjoy the goal setting process itself, and don't be too much stressed out if you cannot think of a good goal to have right now. It's okay. If you're tired of thinking about it, just let it aside for a moment, and when you feel ready for it, come back to it. Okie dokie, okie dokie. Now, let's talk about the nitty-gritty how to do this. Okie dokie. Step 1, take the time. This may sound obvious, but sometimes we can stumble into the new years without taking enough time to really think and plan about this. If you don't invest the actual time into this, then you will bear no fruits. Step 2 is reflect. Before thinking about the future, I recommend you to do a reflection of the past. So some of the questions that I ask myself is, what were the key highlights of 2023? What were the lowlights? What were you able to achieve? What were you not able to achieve? If you weren't able to achieve, what was the reason? What could you have done differently? Overall, what was the learning that you had this year? How are you a different person than the person who you used to be in the beginning of the year? Reflecting back, what were your New Year's goals for 2023? How much of it were you able to achieve? How consistent were you able to be with it? If you can redo the entire year again, what would you do? So, of course, you can work on this personally, or if you really want a more robust reflection, you can go ask for friends, family who knows you well, and ask for feedback about yourself. So now that we've taken the time and also reflected 2023, now we're gonna move on to 2024. So step 3 is the bucket list. And this is actually the fun part. In this process, I actually try to list out all the things that I want to do in life. And this isn't just about 2024. It's not just 1 year span, but anything that I want to do in the future. You don't have to limit this into what you can actually do in 1 year. So this is the secret sauce. Don't limit to 1 year, but expand that into 5 years, 10 years, or a lifetime. I really want to have a lot of freedom when I think about this. So that's why I call this procedure a bucket list. I'm just listing down everything that I want to do, I want to achieve in not just in 1 year, but lifetime. Right? So it's a fun process. What are the career goals that I have? If I did not have any limitations, what kind of life do I want to live? What kind of person do I want to be? Who do I want to be with? What kind of time? What's an ideal day would look like? And things like that. Next, we move on to breaking this down a little bit. So the next step is setting the priorities. So what I do here is from the bucket list, I take a moment to reflect what is the most important thing in there. In this part, you can be a little bit more realistic and logical, so to speak. And if it helps, you can use this, you may have heard of this, but you can use the tool, the framework called the Eisenhower matrix. So let me show you how that works. So here you begin by writing 2 lines, and on the top left, you'd label this corner urgent. On the top right, you'd label this corner not urgent. And also for the top left, you will label it important. And for the bottom left, this will be the non-important area. So for the important and urgent stuff, this is where you actually do this. You won't take time to do that. And for the not urgent but important thing, you decide when you want to do this. So you'd like to schedule this out. For the urgent but not important parts, this is where you can have other people do it, so you can delegate it to someone else. And finally, for the not urgent and not important part, this is where you want to delete the task. You can just get rid of it. So now you have the list of what you do, what you decide, what you delegate, and what you delete. So that was just an example of how you can set your priorities based on importance and also urgency. Next point, make them actionable. The basic concept here, making it actionable, is break this down so that you really know what to do towards that goal that you set. So just a simple example, one of the things that I have in mind would be to have a fit body, to be fit, right? That's a being goal that I have, and I want to be that way. I want to look better, but then that is still not actionable. So breaking that down, in order to be more fit, have a more athletic body, I would need to work out more, of course. So if I wanted to work out more, how many times a week? So right now I'm doing 1 time per week, so perhaps twice a week. So go to the gym twice a week. That is the breakdown into a more actionable goal. So when I read that, I know what I'm going to be doing towards that goal. And of course, have flexibility because the world changes, the environment changes, you might need to readjust some things, so have an open stance so that you can be flexible but still disciplined towards the bigger goal. Basically continue this process until you feel that you have a list of things that you can actually do towards your bigger goals. Yep. Great, so that's basically all I have to say. Please give me feedback and comments if you thought this was helpful in any way, or if you have your own ways of reflecting and planning for the upcoming year. Please let me know in the comments section below. Okay, so I'm about to close the video, but before I close my video, I want to have a bonus section here, so to speak. Bonus section to introduce you what tools that I actually use when I do this planning scheme. So come here. One of the things that I use is this. It's called Project Paper by a company called Okina. It's a Japanese product. Sorry, it's dirty. It's basically A4 size paper that you can use for free planning. It has these grid lines that's easy to like check boxes and things like that. You can draw graphs if you want, and it's very smooth and nice, easy to write on. So one of the tools that I use is this Pentel Energel 0.4 millimeters. It's very smooth, and it's really in just a few seconds and it'll be okay. It doesn't smudge. Awesome. I also like to use different kinds of pens as well. I also like to use this Lamy fountain pen. This also has a 0.4 millimeter nib. It's very easy to write. So besides this is more of a PDCA cycle, but I also use the Hobonichi planner. This is already the one for next year. After I list all the things out and have all my actionable goals written down somewhere, what I also like to do is go to the daily section. This will always have one extra page in the beginning of the month, so I kind of break down into monthly goals as well. And for this part, I mix both like the action goals and also the being goals, like what I want to be. So I usually do that every month. So I'd write that down in January. I'd also write that down for February as well. And all of my annual events I would write down on the monthly calendar. I can also have space to write down some goals for this month. And for the weekly section, I used this part for the to-dos and write down all of my schedules in here. Yes, I usually do use Google Calendar, but it's kind of like a ritual for me to rewrite that into this planner and prepare for every week. Yep. So basically it's the project paper and the Hobonichi planner that I use for all the planning and the writing. I use these two and these two pens. I also have different colored pens for the Pentel Energel. I also have the black and the red. Here they are. And I also use this Pigma Micron pen to write down my daily reflections. It's very nice. It doesn't smudge at all as well, so especially on the Hobonichi paper. So yeah. Alright guys, that is officially it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching until the end. If you like it, please press the like button and please don't forget to subscribe. This year my goal is actually to grow this channel so that I have at least 1,000 subscribers. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a happy holiday season and see you around in 2024. Bye!